ready? Okay, remember that athletic stance? So I'm gonna show you more of a Muay Thai oriented stance and not a strict boxing stance. And the reason is because Buchert is a little bit more akin to mixed martial arts or Muay Thai. So a strict boxing stance isn't necessarily, in my opinion, the best way to go. So because you're gonna learn to do this for armored combat, are you recording? Okay, all right. So if you're gonna learn to do this for armored combat, I think that you should learn to be able to fight with your whole body and not just your arms. But learning how to punch, a lot of the fundamentals are the same. So remember in your athletic stance, and I'll stand the way you stand. First, you start with your feet shoulder width or slightly more than shoulder width apart, all right? And then with your non-dominant leg, you step forward with your non-dominant leg, right? So your heel is in line, so basically your heel's in line with the end of your toe with your other foot, right? Then you bend your knees and then you put the weight on the balls of your feet, right? So you should almost feel like the balance, you should be able to go back and forth easy. You shouldn't be rocking on your heels or you shouldn't be flat-footed. It should be on the balls of your feet and that's where your weight should be, right? And so that's where you stand, and you stand loose. And your body should be straight, upright, and possibly, or not possibly, with a slight forward lean, right? Like you're not leaning your whole body forward, but just like a slight forward lean at your hips, right? So you're just a very slight forward lean, right? So that's where you should be. Your shoulders don't sit down low, right? A lot of people, when they want to fight, they let their shoulders drop, right? What you want is you want your shoulders slightly up. You want your shoulders have a little bit of tension in your shoulders and pinned back just a little bit, but you don't want them up and forward like this, right? You don't want them up by your ears, right? You don't want them back like this. You just want them slightly up, right? Just like that. And I say pin back because when some people do that, they bring them forward. You just want them literally just straight up, and you want some tension in your shoulders. You want nice, good tension in your shoulders. And when you're standing here, you should be standing here. If you stand here for 10 minutes without moving, your calves should cramp, right? You should feel tightness in your calves.
I can feel it in my calves.
Right? So you should feel tightness in your calves, and you should be light on the balls of your feet, right? And then you should feel that slight tension in your shoulders, right? Your right hand is back and your left hand is forward, right? This is your power stance because your right hand is hitting. Now, is this how you would be in Buchert or in melee? The answer is no. How would you be standing? You'd be standing the other way with your shield hand forward, right? And your
You switched your legs though, wouldn't I keep my left leg forward though?
Yes, you would keep your
I
left.
know you're lefty, but
Yeah, you would have your shield hand forward, right? You'd have your shield hand forward like that. So that's how you would be.
So it's the same.
So I'm sorry, you would have, yes.
You're left-handed, so you're thinking
right.
the opposite.
So you would have your shield hand forward, like, so this is how you are, right? So
Yeah.
this is a good way to fight, like with your shield hand forward and your power hand back, right? And from this position, right, there's a couple of punches. The main punch that you can learn, right, you have your swings with your axe and with your weapon, but your right cross, if you're able to throw it, right, that weapon and shield, that should be up high, and this is boxing, right? And so let's just say our hands are up high. This hand should be close to my chin or close to the side of my helmet, right? I shouldn't be fighting down here, because then somebody can really easily get through me. I should be fighting up here. So this stance, nice and bouncy, relaxed, tension in my shoulders, tension in my calves, right? And that's where the tension's at. Everything else should be relaxed, right? And we'll do our shield hand punch first, or for you it's your left hand, right? When that punch comes out, right, what you're gonna do, well, if you just take your hand and I just put it straight out, right, I can just barely reach this, right? I can barely reach this. Now, if I turn my shoulders, see what happens to the, right? See what happens? You just added 4 inches to your reach, right? So when you throw that punch, here's the thing too. Here's the mistake that everybody makes when they throw the punch. They want to throw a punch, so their elbow comes up and then the arm comes out, right? So this is what they do, right? They do this, and they end up hitting with the 2 outside knuckles, right? And it ends up being some wimpy ass fucking piece of shit slap, right? Is that
Is that accurate?
That's
Sure.
completely accurate, right? Some absolutely fucking worthless slap that does nothing, right? So that's not what you want. You want to hit somebody and you want it to be pop. You want to use your 104 pounds or however much you weigh.
Thank you.
You want to use whatever weight you are, right? And you want to have the entire weight of your body behind whatever punch that you throw. So it needs to be stiff, right? And just because you're throwing your arm out doesn't mean you can't have your whole body behind that punch. So when you throw the punch out, it's really important that this is your shield hand, that like, or whatever, that you have, that you're able to look at your knuckles as that hand goes, or look at the palm, your palm as that hand goes out. So, right? So you start here, right? But when that comes out, it actually turns just a hair like this, right? And the reason you do that, right? And this is for people like me that are too stupid to figure stuff out. The reason you do that is, right, take your hand and have it point towards you like that and try to stick your elbow out, right? Does it feel really weird? Like, put the tension in your shoulders, right? Look at that, and then try to like cock your elbow out. It's really super awkward, right? So your natural tendency when you do this, just that slight turn, is to keep your elbow down. So when that fist starts to come out, it comes out like this, slight with your palm slightly turned towards you, right? And then once you've reached that breakover point, right, where your shoulders start to turn, your fist turns over. And what that does is, if you're looking straight at the camera, here, I'll do it straight at the camera, right? When you're looking straight at the camera, what that does is it keeps your arm completely in line with your body. So you use the mechanics of your body to throw the punch, and the whole weight of your body is behind that punch, and it's not just this elbow fucking hand slap.
So at what point do you put your shoulder into
So look, when your hand, see this, like, so I'm here, right? It comes out, right? As my hand comes out, and I'm at 90 degrees right here on my elbow. Once I start to pass that 90 degrees, my shoulder turns and my hand comes out. So instead of this, right? Instead of that, you've got a hard straight pop, and it's coming from the back of your body all the way forward, right? And you're popping right into it. It's a pop. It's a hard pop. I'm leaving it out for demonstration purposes. Yeah, and so the last piece is when you throw that lead hand punch, right, is you actually pick up your foot so you fall into the punch almost. It's a hard whack. It's this ding, this super hard ding instead of a slap with no energy behind it. So just go slow, right? Yeah.
I can't do it anytime you because the
Yeah, that's fine. So where are your feet pointed?
at you.
Right. Your feet should be pointed at your target.
Is my body pointed a little bit more this way, or is my whole body
So
facing?
see, this is how I'm standing. I'm pointed towards you.
Okay, but you're not pointed toward that, so.
Yeah, now I'm saying I'm pointed towards
Okay.
this. Right? Where are your feet pointed? They're pointed over here.
Why do they want to go this way?
Because you don't wanna put your hips back. Point your hips towards your target, right? Straight, like both your hips. Like I wanna have my hip on either side of this, right? And that's where I wanna be, right? Right, and I wanna come back here. So I wanna step, come back, right?
That feels so awkward to move my foot.
So
with
don't
it.
even worry about the foot. Just do, get in that stance, right? And even get close here, where you can touch, right? So I touch and I turn it over, right? I touch and I turn it over. And you notice how I turn my head?
Yeah.
And now, So if I'm just boxing, right, without any armor, when I throw my jab, where are you gonna hit me? In the tops of the head. You're not gonna hit me in the chin, because my jab is also a defensive throw, right? I don't throw my jab like this, right? Because you knock me the fuck out, right? So I throw my jab in my shoulder, my shoulder protects my chin.
So I think my shoulders are dropped, that's why.
Well, that's again, you have to have that tension in your shoulders, right? You box, you don't see boxers like this, right? You don't ever see them like this. You see people don't know how to box, stand there like this.
Yeah.
Right, that's what they do. Yeah. So,
It's just shit, man.
What's
It's just
it?
a marathon of shitting on me.
I'm not even thinking about you.
No, it's just funny because as you're saying these things, you're like, these sissy jabs. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So remember, like, it comes, just go slow. Like here,
So hit it and then turn it.
like, see how slow I'm going?
Yeah. This doesn't turn on the thing.
And then take the gloves off.
Make a fist properly. Like this.
Yes. You don't put your thumbs here because you'll break them. You don't put your thumbs here because you'll break them. Put your thumbs here. Where are your feet pointed?
That's gonna be the hardest part, is keeping my feet.
Yeah, this is Muay Thai stance. It's not a boxing stance, all right? And I want you pointed directly straight. So again, see how I am? Like, I literally am like straddling this thing, right? Right, and that's, so I know when I'm fighting, right, this is where I'm gonna be at. You know?
So maybe it's because this is my non-dominant hand that I'm not used to using, which
Right.
is why my body's wanting to go this way, like, I don't
Okay,
know.
well, the jab is more important
Yeah.
than the cross, especially in Booher.
This one?
Yeah, because that's your shield hand, and
Yeah.
that's the one you're gonna do the most. You're actually gonna end up switching and throwing that thing like a cross, right? So you need to be better with this hand throwing a punch than you do with this one.
Well, it's actually good because I practice my sword with this hand all the time, so practicing boxing more with this
Yeah.
one would kind of even my shoulders out a little bit. Yeah, the stance. Do you want me to do this one? My shoulders up enough?
Yeah. You're not turning them at all because your hips are already turned and your feet are pointed over here, and they're too wide.
They like relax to put.
Bend your knees, right? So think of your hips straight at your target, right? Now get closer. Get closer. Get your toes right. Yeah. Now keep your hips straight at your target. Now stick your hand out like I showed you, right? And turn it over nice and slow. And then turn your shoulder, right? And then come back. Stay bent. Yeah. There, that's better. So you should be looking over the front of your hand, like, yeah, like, I mean, that's where your shield's gonna be. It's gonna be like that, probably more like this, yeah. So you keep not turning your hips back. So bring your hips back here, there you go. So you wanna be squared up. This is at your palm, or this is at your chin, right? And you're looking over the front of that, and you're square. Turn your shoulder, and then bring your hips and your shoulder back. Yeah.
I think I need to practice that whole movement slowly
Yep.
and just like, it's the reset.
Mhm.
I'm not like resetting.
Well, yeah, because this is what you do. You go,
Yeah.
right, and you just leave it there, right?
Okay.
So remember, like when you're boxing, right, or when you're fighting, it's I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning. You see how I'm just